Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tonight at about 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about money, and we're going to be talking about origin of civilization, and we're going to talk about where things came from. So it's going to be quite a listen. Experience life in all possible ways, good, bad, bittersweet, dark, light, summer, winter. Experience all the dualities. Don't be afraid of experience, because the more experience you have, the more mature you become. Osho. For the majority of us, if not all, life is a cosmic mystery. We are constantly thrown from one experience to the next. One moment we are feeling high, then low, happy, then sad, clear, then confused. The polarities that we experience create a divine challenge, which is meant to make us dig deeper inside for the real answer. Most of us don't do that. We don't dig deeper inside. We go further outside, and it's basically the pre-programming that this civilization has had by other people's thoughts. The real answers in this life are those that transcend all questions and bring us directly home to the heart and soul of our very being. This open-minded, enlightened approach to this life is what I refer to as the discovery of the third side of the coin. If you show someone a coin, you say, how many sides are there? And they'll say, most people will say there's two. And there's actually the edge. And the edge is the middle ground, which means if we walk the edge, we're in the now. But it's a thin edge, so we dance along the edge with confidence. Sometimes we can fall onto tail side or the head side. And that means we either go into yesterday or tomorrow. And that's always a possibility until you've begun to master the center. So when we walk this thin line in this life, balance is imperative. Balance in the moment. Totally free from life's extremes. We are neither attached to what is good, nor avoiding what is bad. We aren't trying to get somewhere better, nor trying to get away from something terrible. Now, when we find that magical point in between every two polar experiences in this life, something very transcendental starts to occur. We find out that who we really are is that wonderful sacred presence that naturally allows both polar extremes to coexist in harmony together. What's a visual picture of that? Yin and yang, the circle, dark and light. It's only through riding along the edge between the yesterday and tomorrow that our inner coin cannot flip out and cause us to become one-sided. When our minds can relax, we can balance much easier on that edge. Profound success will manifest effortlessly in our lives when we are experiencing a true balance within ourselves. And this is always the middle path. It's not yesterday or tomorrow, it's the center. When we find the now path between every thought and action we take, our mind tends to remain open to abundance, love, and the divine receptivity. We find a place of freedom from these seemingly bipolar worlds where any emotional drama can arise and never come close to touching this amazing power inside. Now, finding the middle path between yesterday and tomorrow is one of the most enlightening explorations that we will ever come across in this lifetime. It brings instant liberation from the habit of falling into the illusion of believing in right and wrong, good and bad, sinner and saint. Right? It brings instant liberation from the habit of falling into the illusion of believing in right and wrong, good and bad, sinner and saint. Duality and polarity thinking is the wondrous delusory job of our minds, which causes us to take on one side, right? Pretending this one way is the way the entire universe absolutely is. Now, if and when you can always remember the third side is there in every situation and circumstance, with every assumption and projection, you'll continuously discover a freedom that goes beyond the games the mind plays. You'll find you cannot get hooked into any negative or positive position about yourself or another person again. You realize you are that liberated self which is truly free and beyond it all. When you come to the deepest core of your being, to your very source, you will know that you are God. The source of who you truly are, each of us, every one of us. It's what we're doing is we're discovering that we are the God. Right? With practice, the mind will one day be on your side. With practice, the mind will one day be on your side. It will become a skilled master at seeing all three paths, sides of every situation before it makes any assumption, belief, or assessment. The mastered mind unwillingly accepts with open arms whatever life throws at you. As you know, very soon the third side will present itself, where you can ride that edge and be liberated from it all. Knowing that a third side exists, right? Yesterday, tomorrow, now, brings the deepest relaxation into the body, where you can go of the mind's addictive need to figure out what is wrong and what is right. Sometimes, to really know you've reached the third side, the center, right? Use a coin as an example. The pendulum of life must fully swing to its opposite extreme. For example, someone who is battling with an addiction may first need to form a very rigid mental and emotional wall to push away from the substance that they are addicted to. They will need to formulate a judgment about the substance, calling it evil, wrong for anyone on this planet to touch this forbidden fruit. An extreme polarization in thinking is necessary for any addict to take the first step on the path of freedom. They will need to believe themselves to be powerless over the substance before they can accept the pendulum swing towards feeling empowered. Again, however, for the addict to truly find peace inside, they must soften the wall that once protected them and find that divine presence inside, which needs no walls. They must choose to discover a place inside which is much more free than their minds. This presence is so fulfilling that it has no resistance to any substance and also free from They're illusion. And they can be fed and fulfilled by the substance. Choose your thoughts wisely, for they are the energy that create your life. Choose your thoughts wisely, for they are the energy that creates your life. Having complete equanimity of mind is such a fine and delicate process. It's like trying to get, you ever use a coin and try to get it balanced on its edge? It's like trying to get a coin to balance precisely on its thin edge. The mind will attempt to try to improve life, make things more perfect, and yet life in itself is already perfect all the time. The mind then has to take on the biggest chore in the universe. It has to let go, trust life, and accept this perfection that is in everything around it. Everything is deeply perfect and in balance all the time. Even though our minds may not see it, it is there. We simply need to unravel our beliefs, find the third side, the center, and this perfection will reveal itself to you. There is no way we can forcefully push away thoughts and find peace. Any thoughts that you have that you cannot accept will eventually consume your mind and destroy your peacefulness inside. There is no way we can forcefully push away thoughts and find peace. All thoughts you have that you cannot accept will eventually consume your mind and destroy your peacefulness inside. Anytime we create resistance to a memory, sensation, or feeling, that coin will remain stuck, only showing one side of the situation, causing your entire reality to be slanted towards the extreme. Whenever you find yourself feeling strongly for or against something, just know that your mind is being temporarily enslaved and caught in the illusion that only one side of the coin exists. It might be yesterday or tomorrow, but only one exists. The secret is really being free in this life. It comes down to learning how to master each thought you have. This is not done through controlling, avoiding, or ignoring your thoughts, but by seeing them for what they are. They are just thoughts. Some are positive, some are negative, and some natural or neutral. It's how we react to these thoughts is what makes us into a master or a mouse. Nobody trips over mountains. It is the small pebble that causes you to stumble. Pass all the pebbles in your path, and you will find you have crossed the mountain. One who has mastered their relationship with their mind has learned how to welcome each thought in as if it were a new guest. The master allows the thoughts to come inside, sit down, have a cup of tea, and enter into the divine sanctuary of your soul. Here, your thoughts are transformed and seen as the enlightened gifts they actually are. Each one is a subtle clue that lights your way on the path towards a spiritual awakening. The deeper we dive into this journey of finding the center, the more we realize that balance in life equals profound happiness. When we find the razor's edge with eating just enough food, but not too much, our body rewards us with feeling healthy, happy, and energized. When we are having just enough sex, just enough sleep, just enough intimate conversations, just enough exercise, we discover a natural joy seems to follow us wherever we go. When we're not too dependent on our partners, nor too independent and distant from them, we will find the most exquisite natural tantric love affair naturally blossoms through. Life is truly experienced as an amazing, magical adventure when we are listening to our body's signals and respect our body enough to know when to say yes please more and when to say no thank you, I've had enough. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You always did the best you knew how to do. When you find that your mind is constantly clinging to some certain ideas, notice that it is holding on to only one side, right? One side of the coin. Stop and notice how much energy you're wasting in rejecting the other side. Be curious and open your mind. What is it about the other side that is so scary for you? What would happen if you just relaxed with the other side for a few days? When we can change ourselves to explore those realms that are frightening inside us, we start to grow and evolve as human beings. When we can choose to accept that everything in this life contains both good and bad qualities, we suddenly realize we don't have to work so hard to get our desires met. Then a natural creative flow of energy starts moving through you. And the real juiciness of life takes over as you find that you have instant access to your divine essence at all times. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi. It's good to be gentle with yourself in this process and at all times. Now, this third side, this center, is not always easy to find, especially when it's buried underneath a major past life lesson. We came here to learn. There is an inherent blindness that every soul incarnates with. And this blindness also has a negative, positive, neutral side to it. This means you will not be able to clearly see the karmic patterns and unconscious habits that you have until you're fully ready to release them. Your preciousness lies in your essence. It cannot be lost by anything that happens. Your preciousness lies in your essence. It cannot be lost by anything that happens. Prime Zoo. This is okay. For you do not need to know exactly what you need to let go of until you are truly ready to let it go. We all know when the fruit is ripe, it will naturally fall from the tree on its own accord. It's okay if we keep leaning towards a particular one-sided viewpoint and away from another. When the soul is ready to grow, it will. You'll receive the life lesson you need. Everything happens at the perfect time and place, where our soul can receive and integrate each lesson fully. Now, if we try forcing our mind to walk perfectly on this razor's edge, we may feel like we need a million lifetimes as a Zen master to get it perfectly perfect. The real goal here is not to perfect your life. Your life is already perfect. So it's more a matter of seeing the perfection that is already here now. This means being open and thankful for the lessons you're here to learn. Now, the sweet pendulum of life will swing to extremes, testing our abilities at remaining centered and riding our edge. When we can remain perfectly still and silent in the center of the cyclone, then all those voices in your head don't have a chance at taking you hostage. By being so centered at the core of your consciousness, no matter what life throws at you, you can simply relax deeper into it, receiving it with real gratitude and joy. This is a sign of a true master, and inside of this person, a stillness is found wherever they go. By simply bringing our consciousness into every one of our actions, the master will blossom within us, and our lives will become the most amazing, beloved teaching we could ever imagine. On this sacred path to finding this third side, this center, we will acquire profound wisdom and insights that we may want to broadcast with everyone. Just remember that you don't have to change anyone or teach anybody anything. Life is a master at teaching people what they most need to learn, when they are ready to learn it. Pushing your ideas on others without their consent can just upset that beloved balance you once found inside yourself. Remember that your insights are sacred gifts for you, and that if you give them away too quickly, you'll miss the alchemical process each one was destined to give to you. When I look inside and see that I am nothing, that is wisdom. When I look outside and see that I am everything, that is love. And between these two, my life turns. Mirage. It's good to remember that we cannot fully control anything in this life, nor would we want to. Some wise beings say the only thing you have control over is your response to this life. Yet on some deeper karmic level, you may not have 100% control over this. There is a power and presence running through us that is so penetrating, it reaches into the very fabric of our thinking process. This universe is always much more intelligent than we can comprehend. It is this divine intelligence that is truly running the show. And the more we can surrender our lives to it and trust it, the more we will know exactly what we need to do, where to go, and what we most need to know to manifest every dream that we've been wanting to create in this lifetime. The magic has always been within you. See, a lot of us will go yesterday and stay at yesterday. Others will go tomorrow, stay tomorrow. They live there. But the center, that thin line, not a lot of people go there now. they fear they might fall off into the yesterday or the tomorrow. So we have this, it's kind of like, it really is a fake fear. And it depends on how we've been programmed, okay? On how, when, where we pick up on the vibrational frequency of the now. Now, life is like a wild tiger. We can either lie down and let it lay its paw on our heads, or sit on its back and ride it. Ride the wild tiger. This life is a wild tiger. One of the most effective ways to manifest anything in your life is having true confidence in yourself and in the dream life you desire to have. You ever notice when you're feeling great about yourself, you're sending out a powerful, positive vibe into the world, which comes back to you in the form of amazing opportunities, or abundance, positive relationships. Having self-confidence is like a magic wand in your pocket. You can pull it out whenever you want and feel that you have the power to miraculously manifest anything you can imagine. It just happens in the course of a lifetime that our soul yearns to mature deeply within itself. To do this, it must attract a super challenging situation that will teach us to look deeper inside and find where the source of everlasting confidence comes from. Somebody will get angry at us, become disappointed in us, start neglecting, ignoring, and even physically and emotionally abuse us. Now, if we become identified with the negative experience, we can feel bad about ourselves, the world, and shrink our perception of the amazing beings we all truly are. If we continue for years to identify with the bad feelings and story around the trauma, we develop a sense of low self-esteem. And the confidence we had within ourselves will most definitely weaken. Many people have been traumatized in their lives. If you've been traumatized in your life, then you know you're not alone. Most of us have some major form of wounding we are dealing with. We all have the choice in how we deal with it. And the path, this path, is what leads us to healing and freedom. The path of creating more confidence in yourself beings with practicing, trusting, and loving yourself begins with practicing, trusting, and loving yourself all day long. Being gentle with who you are. As the more often you love you, the more valuable, lovable, and precious you feel in this world. When you can allow yourself to feel lovable, you start respecting yourself and the gifts you have to give this world. You feel valuable and worthy of more love. You stop thinking about how lovable you are, or comparing yourself with others, believing that they are better than you. If we and when we continue to dwell and focus upon our wounding, only feeling that we are lacking, needing, or feeling not enough in our lives, then we stop having time for loving, approving, and appreciating who we are. When self-love is not happening on a daily basis, it opens the ground for the wound to fester and a lower self-confidence to root inside. If we do not establish a new perception or thinking pattern inside ourselves, we might just live our entire lives believing we are never good enough and feel as if this life is one long hell ride of being dragged from the cradle to the grave. I'm sure you've heard that statement. When I let go of who I am, I become what I might be, Lao Tzu. It's good to know that there are two basic types of self-confidence we can tap into. The first is a transient state of ego confidence that will come and go because it's based in holding on to thoughts which always come and go. The mind attempts to grip firmly onto a strong positive idea. About who we are. And then we feel good about us. This strategy will work for a certain measure of time, yet eventually, I am a powerful, confident person will shift to, you are a weak, helpless, pathetic person when the great cyclone of life rips through. When we hold too tightly onto any idea about who we are or who we are not, we soon see that life will change the strength of this idea. Not only will it change it, it will challenge the strength of this idea. If our ideas about ourselves are flexible, we will tend to bend when life attempts to break us. The limbs of the large oak tree tend to crack in a big windstorm, while the flexible bamboo tree yields to the fierce pressure and cyclone intensity. Eventually, whenever any idea is shaken, cracked, or destroyed about ourselves, the ego comes crashing down, burying itself in the dark valley of insecurity and powerlessness, and then has to rebuild its inner structure again and again and again. There is no use removing doubts one by one. Now, if we clear one doubt, another doubt will arise, and there will be no end of doubts. But if by seeking the doubter is found to be really non-existent, then all doubts will cease. Ramana Maharishi. The second type of confidence is a spiritual confidence, which has nothing to do with ideas, beliefs, identity, or ego. This level of confidence stems from a perpetual discovery of one's sweet, succulent spiritual essence. It is an unveiling of the spiritual truth of who you are, without labels, without judgments, masks, or coverings of any kind. Our true spiritual nature is tapped into an infinite source of love, and this love is deeply and eternal. We naturally feel confident about this life because we are feeling into the very source of love, which always abides at the core of our being. By simply feeling into our deepest core, we find this spiritual connection is there. It is a gentle relaxation and effortless surrender into our deepest truth without words. There is divine energy there, conscious being who is beautiful brilliant, and incredibly powerful. This naturally sacred being doesn't need to prove itself. Its beaming joy is self-evident and is quiet about how amazing and boundless it is. From this space, there is nobody who needs confidence or fears that someone is lacking confidence. It is from this space, there is nobody who needs confidence or fears that someone is lacking confidence. All you see and feel is the shining light that you are. The small, powerless shadow self instantly disappears in the essence of this bright light, leaving no sense of separation from this light. And the pendulum stops swinging from feeling superior to being inferior. Perhaps the most vital piece of information that will help you remain in a state of perpetual self-confidence is that it is ridiculously easy and truly effortless to experience it. Everlasting confidence is our natural, effortless essence and is continuously radiating at the core of our being. It is always already here, shining perfectly bright enough. The sun is a perfect example of who we are. It is always radiating its light on the world. It is naturally self-effulgent, perfectly warm to bring about life, and simply cannot be improved upon. This is exactly the way we are. Everybody wants to be, and this is so true, everybody on this planet wants to be extraordinary, right? That is the search of the ego to be someone who is special, unique, and incomparable. That's the ego. This is the paradox. The more you try to be exceptional, the more ordinary you look because everyone is after extraordinariness. It is such an ordinary desire, the very search to be ordinary is actually extraordinary. Because rarely does somebody want to be a nobody. Rarely does somebody want to be a hollow, empty space. Yet, this is really extraordinary because nobody wants it. So when you become ordinary, you actually become extraordinary. Also, makes a lot of sense. The search for higher self-esteem is a highly addictive and dangerous game to play. As we are continually trying to acquire a more improved version of ourselves and are never ultimately satisfied with which we are. The more energy we put into trying to become someone better, the more we miss out on the feeling that we are enough and continue to climb up and fall down the ladder of self-esteem. The more tightly we grip onto the beliefs and perceptions about ourselves, the more rigid, complex, and crackable our self-esteem structure becomes. Eventually, when the big wind of life blows through, every idea we were clinging to is shaken off, cracked, or destroyed. It is by putting less energy and effort into becoming someone who is confident that we create more time to spend in relaxation and enjoying bathing in our spiritual core essence. By simply enjoying this truly relaxed, healing space within, we become unshakable and capable of embracing the greatest storms when they do pass through. Ironically, the most solid foundation of confidence of them all is the one which feels connected with the sadness and weakness inside our human selves. We are not avoiding, attached to, or resisting the darkness, yet are simply rooted in the strength we find in our own authenticity. It is through our vulnerability that we find true strength in ourselves, able to remain centered in the most challenging life scenarios. This confidence is the strongest because it is the most flexible, capable of dealing with change and absorbing anything that life throws its way. It's good to know that the opposite of confidence is doubt, fear, hesitation, uncertainty, and cowardice. Each of these experiences is a byproduct of a tight sense emotional fear-based memory that is stored inside the body. The more integrated we become with the tension and the relaxation of the tension, our entire being finds the deepest place of relaxation, and confidence comes pouring through. You can see how essential it is to make time in your life to slow down from the racing mind and practice relaxing into each experience, whether good or bad. Use your breath as a vehicle to take you deeper inside, to touch everything within you, and eventually reach your innermost spiritual core. Play with the exploration, feeling the intimate spiritual connection you already have within yourself. Very soon, you'll find that this simple, wonderful inquiry transforms your entire life. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath, slowly in through the nose, and an easy breath slowly out of the mouth. You might have heard the old saying, hurry up and wait. My mother used to say that to me all the time when I was growing up. She always said, hurry up and wait. Divine timing will not allow you to get anywhere faster than the speed your soul is meant to arrive. You will have to wait if you hurry, so why rush and create such a panic about anything? You have the option today and every day to enjoy your life, savor the peaceful feeling of trusting the magical flow. Practice being infinitely patient, as if you truly could wait for an eternity to get what you think you want in this life. Waiting teaches your ego that your soul is in charge. You'll feel much more at ease with this life when your overactive mind stops believing that it needs to do more, to achieve more in this lifetime. You already are divinity in human form. Is there anything bigger to achieve than that? Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern for our Time for Change call. And Thursday, March 2nd, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, and continually practice being deeply grateful for all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever.